They will not fear you because you shout. They will not respect you because you beg. They will fear you because you stayed silent, stayed focused, and built something so undeniable that it became a threat to their comfort. Machiavelli understood this long before modern men diluted power into shallow displays. True power does not come from loud declarations. It comes from sharpening your mind, disciplining your actions, and eliminating every distraction until your presence itself becomes dangerous. Focus is the enemy of mediocrity. When you are scattered, when your attention is cheap, when you are available to everyone, you are no threat, you are noise. But when you lock into a mission and you cut everything unnecessary, you become the kind of person people whisper about. Think about it. The reason most people never rise is not lack of talent, it's lack of control. They give away their energy to every impulse, every craving, every distraction. They start 1,000 fires, but finish none. They want to be feared, but they cannot even command themselves. Machiavelli would say that such a man is not sovereign, he is a servant. Not to another ruler, but to his own weakness. The path to power begins with one decision: to focus until you are untouchable. To put blinders on and stop scattering your strength. This is not romantic, it is ruthless. Focus will make you lonely, it will strip you of easy pleasures. It will make others label you cold, selfish, obsessed. But the truth is, obsession is the currency of power. Nobody ever changed history by being balanced. The world belongs to those who weaponize their attention. When you learn to hold your focus, you separate yourself from 99% of humanity. Why? Because the modern world is designed to keep you distracted, weak, and docile. Every notification, every trivial argument, every vice is engineered to scatter you. But here is the ugly truth. If they can scatter you, they can rule you. If you can be baited into reacting, you can be controlled. If your mind is divided, your will is broken. Machiavelli's wisdom was simple: control yourself and you can control the game. Lose yourself and you will be played. So ask yourself, what would it look like if you focused with Machiavellian precision? If you killed every distraction, refused to dilute your energy, and committed to a mission so fiercely that your very existence became a threat to others' mediocrity. Imagine walking into a room where people sense you've been building in silence. You don't brag, you don't flex, but they can feel the pressure of your presence. That's not charisma, that's focus forged into power. The first step is brutal clarity. You must know what you want, not vaguely. Not success, not happiness. You must define your conquest. Is it wealth, influence, mastery, territory? Whatever it is, your focus must orbit it like a planet around the sun. Without clarity, you will drift. You will chase 10 things at once and collapse under your own confusion. Machiavelli warned rulers against this weakness. When a prince tries to please everyone, he loses his kingdom. When a man tries to master everything, he masters nothing. Focus is not passive, it is war. It means killing opportunities that don't align with your mission. It means saying no 100 times more than you say yes. It means building your days like fortresses, guarding your time, guarding your mind, guarding your energy. But here's the catch: focus is invisible at first. In the beginning, nobody will applaud you. You'll look like a ghost, friends will drift, people will misunderstand you. Your results won't show yet, and doubt will whisper, why not live like everyone else? That is the Machiavellian test. Can you hold the line long enough for your focus to bear fruit? Most cannot. They break before the world breaks to them. But if you endure, something shifts. Your silence turns into gravity. Your results begin to spit out at you or study you. The same ones who laughed will fear missing your approval. That's the paradox at first. Focus isolates you. Later, it magnetizes power to you. History proves this again and again. Every great leader, from emperors to generals to visionaries, mastered focus. Julius Caesar didn't try to conquer every land at once. He chose Gaul and devoted years to breaking it, and that conquest gave him the momentum to seize Rome. Machiavelli admired this kind of selective aggression. He wrote that a prince must choose his enemies carefully, then strike with relentless focus. Scatter your war, and you lose. Concentrate your war, and you reshape the map. So it is with life. If you want to be a threat, Choose your goal. Choose the one mountain you will climb until the world has no choice but to recognize you. Then, make your focus on that mountain sacred. This is why your enemies are not people. They are distractions. Weak men think their problem is competition, but their real enemy is their own fractured mind. If you can master focus, competitors don't matter. They'll be too busy chasing 10 things while you sharpen one blade to perfection. But let's get real. Focus is not easy. It will test you at every step. The world will offer you shortcuts, temptations, escapes. Your brain will crave novelty, your peers will demand conformity, and your enemies will try to lure you into petty fights. That's why Machiavellian focus is not just attention, it's discipline. It's the ability to see through bait, to stay calm when provoked, to keep your eye on the throne while others fight for crumbs. That's how you become dangerous, not by reacting, but by refusing to react. The moment you master that restraint, you terrify people. Why? Because most people are slaves to their impulses. They are easy to manipulate because they can't resist distraction. But if you're the one who cannot be baited, cannot be derailed, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. Let me give you a picture. Two men walk into a negotiation. One is restless, checking his phone, eager to speak. The other is calm, silent, unmoved. Which one is the threat? The man who cannot sit still is already conquered. The man who can wait, watch, and focus has already won. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because fear creates respect, and respect creates order. But fear does not always come from violence. It often comes from focus. A focused man radiates control. And control terrifies people more than aggression. Focus is slow fire. It doesn't explode. It burns until nothing remains. That is how you dismantle your enemies, not with one dramatic move, but with relentless progress they cannot stop. Step by step, brick by brick, until your structure dwarfs theirs. And here's the dark truth. The world fears obsession because it exposes mediocrity. When you are focused, you hold up a mirror to the scattered, distracted masses. They resent you because your discipline highlights their weakness. That resentment is proof you are becoming a threat, so embrace it. Let them call you obsessive, let them call you heartless. You're not here to be liked, you're here to rule your lane until it bends to you. That is the Machiavellian path focus, until even your silence speaks louder than their noise. This is part 1 of your transformation. The mindset shift. Understanding that power is not about chasing everything, it's about focusing until the world bends. But mindset without practice is nothing. In the next part, we'll go deeper into how to weaponize focus in daily life, how to build systems that keep you locked in, and how to use discipline as a strategy to climb until you are untouchable. Because make no mistake, focus is not just about achievement, it is about survival in the war of life. And Machiavelli knew those who cannot focus will always be ruled by those who can. Focus is not an idea, it is a weapon. And like any weapon, it must be sharpened, protected, and used with precision. If part 1 was about seeing focus as power, part 2 is about building the machinery of focus into your daily life until it becomes unstoppable. Machiavelli never separated theory from practice. He knew rulers who failed in discipline lost their thrones, not because of enemies outside, but because of weakness inside. For you, the same truth applies. Your empire will collapse if your habits are built on sand. So let's start with rule number 1, control your environment. You cannot claim to be focused if your environment is designed for distraction. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must shape his court and surroundings to keep power flowing. You too must arrange your space like a fortress that defends your attention. Look at your room, your desk, your phone. Every object is either an ally or an enemy. Every notification is either sharpening you or dulling you. If your environment constantly interrupts you, you are not living, you are being played. The Machiavellian path begins with reshaping that battlefield. Turn your phone into a weapon, not a leash. Remove the apps that steal your focus. Silence the alerts that beg for your reaction. Keep only the tools that align with your mission. The weak man fears missing out. The focused man fears being distracted. But environment is not just physical, it's social. Who you allow around you is either fuel or poison. Machiavelli warned princes to avoid flatterers, liars, and fools because they drain the strength of a ruler. Look closely. How many of your friends are thieves of your focus? If they gossip, distract, or mock your ambition, they are not allies. They are liabilities. Cut them. Surround yourself with systems. Machiavelli admired military discipline because armies moved like machines. You must design your life the same way, with rituals that make focus automatic. Wake up with a mission, not confusion. Start the day with clarity. Write down the 1 or 2 critical moves that advance your empire. Not 10, not 50, 1 or 2. Power is not built by doing more, but by doing what matters with a ruthless consistency. Guard the first and last hours of your day. Those hours are sacred. They set the tone for your mind. Don't hand them over to noise. Read, write, plan, or train. Strengthen your body and sharpen your mind before the world gets a piece of you. Rule number 3, master the art of saying no. This is where most people collapse. They know what they should focus on, but they betray themselves for short-term pleasure or social approval. Machiavelli warned rulers that indecision is poison. Saying yes to everything is the fastest path to ruin. When you say no, you buy time for what matters. Every yes you give is a piece of your empire sold for cheap. Train yourself to see opportunities as traps unless they align with your mission. Focus is not about doing more, it's about killing what doesn't matter. Rule number 4, weaponize boredom. Most people cannot focus because they're addicted to stimulation. The moment work feels slow or repetitive, they escape into entertainment. But Machiavelli knew that patience is a form of dominance. The one who can endure monotony wins. Think of it this way: mastery is boring, repetition is boring. Building an empire is not fireworks every day, it is laying bricks while others are distracted. If you can learn to love boredom, you become unstoppable, because boredom is where progress hides. Rule number 5, measure your progress like a strategist. A prince does not guess the strength of his armies, he counts them, drills them, knows them. Likewise, you must track your focus. Write down your victories, your failures, your hours spent building. Numbers don't lie, feelings do. When you see the data of your focus, you can adjust like a general studying a battlefield. You stop lying to yourself about how hard you're working. Self-deception is the enemy of progress. Data kills excuses. Rule number 6, create enemies deliberately. This may sound dark, but it's Machiavellian. Nothing sharpens focus like having something or someone to prove wrong. Enemies give you direction, they give you energy, they remind you that power is a contest, not a gift. Do not waste time hating your enemies emotionally. Use them as fuel. Every time you feel tired, imagine their satisfaction if you quit. Every time you're tempted by distraction, remember they'd love to see you fail. Turn your enemies into silent trainers that keep your focus alive. Rule number 7, practice invisibility. Focus is not just about what you do, it's about what you hide. Machiavelli warned that a prince should conceal his intentions until they are too powerful to stop. The same applies to you. Don't announce every move. Don't show your hand too early. When you keep your focus private, you protect it from jealousy, sabotage, and gossip. You deny your enemies the chance to anticipate you. Silence is strategy. By the time they see what you've been building, it's already too late. This is where many men fail. They chase validation instead of victory. They leak their progress for applause, not realizing applause is a drug that weakens focus. The Machiavellian man doesn't need approval, he needs results. Rule number 8, sharpen your body as well as your mind. A weak body breaks focus because it cannot endure pressure. Machiavelli admired warriors not only for strategy but for strength. You must train your body to withstand fatigue, stress, and long hours of work. When your body is disciplined, your mind follows. A prince who cannot endure hardship loses his throne to one who can. Likewise, a man who cannot endure discipline loses his focus to one who can. Fitness is not vanity, it is armor. Rule number 9, master the rhythm of withdrawal. Even warriors retreat to recover. Focus does not mean constant grind. It means strategic cycles of effort and rest. If you burn yourself out, you lose. If you manage your energy like a resource, you stay dangerous. This is why solitude is critical. Machiavelli often studied in silence, reflecting on history, sharpening his mind in isolation. You must also step back from noise to recharge. Withdrawal is not weakness, it's maintenance of power. Rule number 10. Cultivate cold patience. Focus is not just intensity, it's duration. Anyone can focus for a week. Few can focus for a decade. Machiavelli respected rulers who thought long-term, who played years ahead instead of days. That must be your frame. Ask yourself, what will your enemies look like in 10 years? Where will you be? If you play the long game with cold patience, you outlast them. Power is often not won by the fastest, but by the most enduring. But here's the catch: systems and discipline alone are not enough. You must also weaponize your psychology. Because focus is war, not only against distractions, but against yourself. Your brain will resist you. It will whisper excuses. It will crave comfort. And this is where Machiavellian thinking saves you. You must learn to treat your mind like a subject, not a master. Command it, bend it, break it if necessary. When weakness whispers, don't negotiate. Dictate. Set rules for yourself that are non-negotiable. No phone in the morning, no skipping the gym, write every day. These are laws, not suggestions. A prince who cannot enforce laws loses power. A man who cannot enforce his own laws loses focus. Understand this. Freedom is not doing what you want. Freedom is commanding yourself to do what must be done. That is true sovereignty. And once you achieve it, others feel it. They sense your control. They know you are not like them. And that is when you become a threat. Because the man who has mastered his own mind cannot be conquered. He is immune to manipulation, immune to temptation, immune to distraction. And in a world of scattered slaves, such a man is a king. This is the machinery of Machiavellian focus environment: rituals, discipline, enemies, invisibility, strength, withdrawal, patience, and psychological sovereignty. Each rule is a brick in the fortress of your power. Ignore them and you will be scattered like the rest. Apply them and you will build something terrifying: a mind that cannot be broken, a presence that cannot be ignored, a mission that cannot be stopped. But there is one final piece: the external projection. Because focus, once built, is not just for you. It is a weapon meant to be felt by others. In part 3, we'll reveal how to project your focus outward, how to turn inner discipline into outer dominance, how to make people feel your gravity, and how to rise until your silence itself becomes a threat that reshapes the game. Because remember, focus is not the end goal. Focus is the path. The end goal is power. And Machiavelli would remind you, power belongs only to those willing to sacrifice distraction for domination. The world only fears what it can feel. You can be disciplined in private, but if your focus never radiates outward, it remains invisible. Part 3 is about projection, how to make your inner sovereignty so tangible that others bend before you without a word spoken. Machiavelli knew that rulers did not control people only through armies. They controlled them through perception. Power is not just what you have, it is what others believe you have. Focus, once weaponized, must become presence. And presence is the silent art of making others adjust to you. Think about the men you've encountered who seemed unshakable. They didn't speak the loudest. They didn't seek approval. They walked in, calm and cold, and somehow the room bent around them. That is not charisma. That is focus forged into gravity. This begins with aura. Aura is not mystical. It is the psychological effect of your discipline. When people see that you are not scattered, not distracted, not needy, they instinctively sense danger. Why? Because you cannot be manipulated like everyone else. You are not predictable. And unpredictability is terrifying. Machiavelli warned that a prince should never reveal all his intentions. A man who is too transparent becomes easy to use. By mastering focus, you create layers of mystery. People cannot guess what drives you. They cannot read you. They feel watched by someone who sees more than he says. This silence becomes your weapon. The less you explain yourself, the more people invent stories about you. Rumors, myths, speculations, they all multiply your presence. And the beauty is, you don't have to correct any of them. The mystery itself becomes power. But presence is not only silence, it is consistency. When your actions align day after day with your mission, people start to believe in your inevitability. They may resist you, they may envy you, but they cannot deny you. You are not a flicker, you are a fire. Think of Alexander the Great. His enemies feared him not just because of his armies, but because he carried himself with unstoppable momentum. He believed he was destined to conquer, and his focus made others believe it too. That's the Machiavellian principle. Confidence backed by relentless discipline becomes prophecy. Your goal is not to chase attention, but to magnetize it. A man who chases looks desperate. A man who builds relentlessly becomes unavoidable. People are drawn to consistency like moths to flame. They want to be near someone who seems carved from iron while they are made of clay. And here lies a darker truth. Once you project focus, you automatically create hierarchy. Those who are weaker will submit to you. They may follow, they may imitate, they may even resent, but deep down, they know you are above them. That recognition is the seed of authority. Machiavelli understood that leadership is not about kindness, it is about inevitability. People obey not because they love you, but because they sense resistance is pointless. Your focus makes you inevitable. You move like a tide, and tides are not argued with, they are endured. This is why you must master the art of controlled display. Focus in silence, but choose moments to reveal progress, like a blade flashing in the dark. A well-timed reveal terrifies more than constant boasting. When they see what you've been building, they realize how much they missed while they were distracted. The Roman generals did this. Often they would keep their strategies secret, then unleash them at decisive moments, leaving enemies shocked and paralyzed. Your life should be the same. Work in shadows, then strike with results so undeniable that arguments die on contact. But let's go deeper focus. Projected outward is not only about fear, it's also about shaping perception. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear virtuous while being ruthless inside. Likewise, your projection must balance danger with composure. Too much aggression invites resistance. Controlled calm inspires awe. People should feel two things around you. They should respect your discipline, and they should fear your indifference. Respect because you embody control. They cannot. Fear because you do not need them. Neediness destroys presence. Indifference builds it. That's the paradox. You don't dominate by chasing. You dominate by staying immovable. The river does not beg the stone to move. It wears it down until the stone submits. Your focus must make you that river. Relentless, calm, unstoppable. Now let's talk tactics for projecting this aura. First, control your body language. Stand still. Move deliberately. Don't fidget, don't rush, don't overreact. Machiavelli wrote that appearances shape perception, so appear as if nothing shakes you. Even when chaos rages, your calmness will terrify. Second, control your speech. Speak less. When you do, speak slowly, decisively, without fillers. A man who talks endlessly leaks his focus. A man who measures his words seems sharper, stronger, and more mysterious. Silence is not weakness, it is dominance in disguise. Third, control your availability. Do not be everywhere, do not respond instantly, do not let people assume they have access to you anytime. A ruler who is too accessible loses respect. Scarcity builds value. Let people earn your attention. This scarcity principle multiplies your presence. When you appear, it feels important. When you act, it feels decisive. The less they see you, the more they crave your presence, and craving turns into submission. But perhaps the most Machiavellian tactic of all is strategic unpredictability. People must never fully predict your moves. Routine in discipline is good. Routine in behavior is deadly. A predictable man is easy to control. An unpredictable man becomes a storm. Drop surprises, switch tactics, disappear when expected, appear when least expected. Keep allies guessing, keep enemies uncertain. This psychological fog makes you untouchable. Nobody prepares well against what they cannot read. At this stage, focus has transformed into intimidation. You no longer need to shout, fight, or prove. Your aura speaks louder than words. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Fear here does not mean terror. It means respect backed by unease. And once you project this, something interesting happens. Opportunities come to you. People align with you. Resources gather around you. Why? Because the world is magnetized to certainty. Most men are lost in distraction. When someone radiates focus, he becomes a lighthouse in the fog. But here's the warning. When you become a threat, expect resistance. Envy will rise. Sabotage will come. The weak do not forgive discipline because it highlights their weakness. Machiavelli knew rulers would always face conspiracies. The same applies to you. The more focused you are, the more enemies you create. This is why your projection must also include strategy for defense. Never reveal all your resources. Keep reserves of energy, wealth, or information hidden. Let your enemies underestimate you, and when they move, crush them decisively. Mercy is wasted on those who seek your downfall. Projection, then, is not performance, it is war psychology. Every gesture, every silence, every reveal is calculated. You are not living randomly. You are living like a general in peacetime, preparing for battle without announcing it. But the reward is enormous. Focus projected outward creates sovereignty. You stop playing by their rules. You stop needing permission. You stop explaining. You set the terms, and others either comply or break. That is when you stop being just a man, you become a force. Machiavelli would call this the moment you transcend from ruled to ruler. And make no mistake, that transition is rare. Most people will die distracted, broken, and used. Only a few will weaponize focus until it transforms them into living threats. So where does this leave you? With a choice. You can scatter yourself like everyone else, chasing cheap pleasures, bleeding energy into distractions, and remaining harmless. Or you can choose the Machiavellian path to focus until you cannot be ignored, cannot be manipulated, cannot be stopped. Because here is the ultimate truth. The world does not respect the harmless. It respects the dangerous who choose restraint. The harmless man is forgotten. The dangerous man who governs himself is remembered, feared, and followed. Focus is the root. Discipline is the trunk. Presence is the branches. And power is the fruit. If you want to taste power, you must grow the tree, and you grow it by focusing until everything unnecessary withers away. So, focus until they whisper about you. Focus until they fear losing you. Focus until your silence speaks louder than their noise. Focus until your existence becomes a mirror that shames the scattered. Focus until you are a threat, because that is the Machiavellian path to power. And in a world addicted to distraction, the most dangerous man is the one who cannot be moved.